What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to episode 25 of the You Might Be Surprised podcast. Oh, guys, I've had a day. All right, before I even get on into what's up, what's poppin', I've had a day. All right, I've spent 4 hours trying to get this new phone. Okay, I got it. It doesn't even work. AT&T hasn't transferred my number yet correctly, so nothing works on it. I don't get why, because I switched to Verizon to AT&T, and then I also put a new hard drive into my computer because Cold War is coming out next week, and I'm trying to stream the crap out of that. Hit me up if you want to watch that. It's twitch.tv/You Might Be Surprised. Everything is You Might Be Surprised. And just I need more storage on my computer, and I wanted to record this. This is the first time I've ever recorded on a Sunday, put up by Monday. So I'm just struggling to get things done, get this whole phone thing done. You know, it's annoying, but you know what? I'm here for it. Shout out to my mom. She made this, on Friday was my birthday, and I'm still living at home. Depression or sadness, or you're like, hey dude, you're trying to save money, whichever way you look at it, dude, whichever way you look at it. But let's get right into it. What's up, what's poppin'? So Friday was my birthday, okay, and I decided 2 weeks ago on my 24th birthday I'm going to do stand-up for the first time in the middle of a pandemic. I'm going to risk my life to do stand-up. And I'm gonna break it down. I have a video of everything, and it was fun. When I talked about doing stand-up before on this podcast, I was like, I'm not even gonna tell any of my friends. I'm just gonna go do it, and then tell them and be like, oh yeah, by the way, I did stand-up. And so I brought my friends in, and I was really happy that they were there. I have the video and things like that. So let's actually watch that now, and then I can digress and tell you what was going on when I was saying it, and then I can kind of break it down what was happening. So let me pull this up, dude. Oh my gosh, dude, my head hurts so bad from trying to okay, hold on. It was just annoying, man. Sometimes I need to forget that this is a podcast and I'm allowed to do small little mistakes. But yeah, my 4-minute set turned into 2 minutes and 20 seconds, and it's weird quality. But let's get into it.
Whoa! This is my first time, and it's also my birthday, so I figured it'd be a good time for someone to laugh at me or laugh with me. No. So to get started, I have a speech impediment. So if you've ever heard a car across the way and you just hear go and then you hear someone come on, let's go Betsy. Yeah, that part that comes out of my mouth, and normally someone's like, come on, spit it out. But I'm not a quitter, so.
I thought that part was a great joke. I came up with that on the spot, but I'm not a quitter because, spitters are quitters. Anyways, that joke took me forever to write because I was like, dude, I don't know. I need to come up with a joke to let people know that I have a speech impediment. So if it happens, they can laugh with me instead of at me,
Most people, I can tell when somebody has a speech impediment because someone they normally slap their leg or do something. For me, I slap my leg as well, but I also do the same with my neck. And if you saw that from across the room, you're probably like, oh, that guy's definitely not trying to get out an important sentence. You're probably like, he looks like he's choking on a dick. So, wow.
That one was too, and what you're about to hear, I go wow, because I'm so nervous that I don't know what to expect. And also what was weird for this was in my head, I had the punchline set up, and I thought I knew when people were gonna laugh, so it threw me off when people laughed at other parts, and timing is everything. So let's get back into it.
Alrighty.
I was laughing because I heard my friends laugh.
Yes, no, yes, alrighty. No matter if you voted left or right, also I hate the left and right thing, just say the normal words. We can all agree on one thing, is if you have a political sign in your yard, you gotta go, alright? People say that there's a population problem, I'm just saying, there's a solution. I just like, I don't.
That I was like, I was trying to like be cringy and like I figured like I get like a ooh, he's edgy, you know, and I like in my head I thought these were the most funniest things, and like the crowd that night, and I'll get into it in a second, but like it was intense. It was intense. Like everyone was there was just like not having it, and I was like, oh god, this isn't gonna go well. I think it went okay, but I'll let it play out and then we can talk about it.
Get it? Like it's not like I'm gonna be driving by and I'm seeing Trump's like, oh boy, I guess I'm voting for Trump. You know? I mean, if there's a sign that said, I take in the ass on Monday nights, then you have my attention, and you're definitely driving back by. And if you're lying to, or you're definitely
I screw up right here.
Lying, whatever.
I screw up. I was so embarrassed.
But no, man. And then there's the guys that like fucking like make the signs. Like really, the world's going to shit, and you're doing arts and crafts. Really?
And I was like, oh, I got so nervous.
Yeah, man. I kind of like. I see that, and I want to know like what's going on with that. So
I messed up my wording.
Like a wife and a husband. The wife has like the sign out, and I wrote this joke for Biden, but it didn't really work. But for Trump, so she's putting the Trump sign. She yells to her husband, and she's like, "Do you think if I put glitter on the Trump sign, that would get the next door neighbor to vote for him?" And the husband's like, I don't know. I'm watching Border Patrol. Just leave me alone. And she's like, okay, but it's Monday night. You know what that means. That was a callback. But, you know, that's all I got. I thought it was going to be longer than this, but that's all I got.
I was so nervous I dropped the cord.
Make some noise for our first timer, Chris Lynch, man. This shit ain't easy. Come on.
So that was my whole set. Let me put this back to full cam here. So that was my full set. And it was so nerve-wracking. My jokes were mediocre at best, but once you get up there and you just kind of send it, it's honestly not that scary. I thought I was going to have like a lot worse of a time. And let me just close this out because I keep looking over to my right because I see myself. I thought I was going to have a lot worse of a time, and I didn't. I went up there with confidence that I didn't know that I had, and it was just fun to kind of just put myself up there. So let me break it down a little bit more. So when we got there, I've been there before once because I wanted to go there and see what it was before I even did an open mic. And when I got there, it was like the same comedians that were there for the last time, a lot less people. So I was pretty much doing my first set to, I don't want to say established comedians, but people that have gone up on stage a couple more times than I have. And to be honest, as bad as my jokes were, I would say that they were a little bit more thought out than some of the people there. I'm like, for me, I like comedy that kind of goes in a story, not just like the one-liners and things like that. I'd rather listen to a story that has a big punchline at the end. Like that's why I did the callback than compared to like 10 one-liners like right in a row. But yeah, man, I was nervous, had a couple beers, and I like chilled. It chilled me out. But things that I would have done differently is when I go up again, I'm just going to take a big deep breath and kind of embrace the silence. That's like a cool part of it that I didn't really know of. Like I always took silence as bad, but in reality, silence isn't always bad. You can sit there and be quiet. And that's like something that you can take in like just like relationships and things too. But that was cool. And then what else? It's just like, I forget the exact quote, but it was something by like from Will Smith. who said like pretty much facing your fear, like once you like get up there and like face it, like he was talking about skydiving or something like that, but like once you break through that, you no longer see the fear, you just see the excitement. And for me, this was breaking through a mental barrier that I had, that I was going to be like, oh, I can't do public speaking. Oh, I can't do this. I can't do that because I have a speech impediment. For me, this was something that broke me through. And once I got off that stage, I now have this overwhelming confidence in like whatever I do. And I can tell in my body and in my motions that I have this, that like I now have this in my toolbox compared to a week ago. Like I no longer care because I know that I can do it. Does that make sense? It's like going to the gym for the first time. You're like, oh, this isn't too bad, and then you keep going. So that made me really happy, and it was something that like I didn't think that was ever gonna happen to me in my life. But now it has, and I'm just like I feel like I can do whatever I want now, and that's such a great feeling. And some of you that might be hearing this, you're like, well, like you didn't like do much, but like to me, this is everything for me, because my whole life I've gone like I felt like I couldn't go and talk to like I felt like I couldn't go and like speak to a cute girl at a bar because I would be made fun of, or I felt like my opinions didn't really matter because I'd be made fun of. And now, dude, now I see the magical parts of doing something new and doing it and like stepping out of your comfort zone. And I'm not saying I haven't stepped out of my comfort zone before, but this is like a big thing, and I'm so excited to get back up there and do it again. I've already written out this one joke that I think is funnier than anything that I've written before. And like so like that whole day though, I was so nervous. I woke up that morning, took that day off of work because it was my birthday too. Um, Went to Starbucks and got a 5 shots of espresso. I know it's a lot, and just so I could be like because caffeine makes me concentrate, and I wanted to go over my set. I went over my set like 5 or 6 times, and I was nervous, and then I went and I crashed at like 5:45. I was like, dude, I'm so tired. So then I drove over to my friend's place, grabbed a Red Bull, drank that, and I went on stage at like 8:45, 9 o'clock, did my 2 minutes, and afterwards, dude, I was sweating, but like all my friends there were like so proud of me. It was such a cool, surreal experience. But there was this one dude that was there, right? It was also his birthday, and he got obliteratingly drunk, and he had to be on some sort of drug too. Um, and this dude, let me tell you, okay, so he was the last comedian to go on, and comedians in quotes. So he gets up onto the stage, right? And he automatically starts screaming. He was like, "What's up, everybody?" I forgot his name, but he was screaming. Okay. And his only joke was, do you want to hear what happens when you have 14 concussions? And then he just started screaming. And he did this for about 4 minutes, right? And me and my friends were on the left-hand side of the bar. We were wearing masks, just because we were like, I don't have to give an explanation. That's so dumb that I even thought I had to. But so like we were wearing masks, and not a lot of people were. I don't know why we got singled out, but he brings the mic stand with it and plops it in front of our table and like pretty much just screams at us. Okay, like rings us out, and like it threw my friends off and it threw me off, and my friends did not like it at all. But yeah, and then so like that happened, the cord comes undone, and he's just, dude, he had to be on cocaine or something. And so he gets it going, and he puts the mic jack back in, and he's like, "That's my time. And then he gets off, and the comedian or the host of the thing was like, all right, guys, that's it. Thank you to all the comedians and people who showed up. And then he comes back behind him, kind of pushes the dude out of the way, grabs the microphone. He's like, I'm not leaving. And everyone was like, what? Like, what is this guy doing? And it was very weird. And then he got more aggressive at our table, and he finally just like quit, and like we just walked out the bar, and like everything was going fine until that. It's just like that dude just was terrible. It was so annoying. And yeah, it was it was a fun, but that guy ruined the end experience. So let me break it down a little bit more to like what I kind of learned besides me feeling like now I can do whatever I want. I also kind of get, like, if you listen to a lot of comedians and things like that, I get the whole writing on stage part, and I also get writing like in general. I can see how people write on stage, and I can see like the people that sit in front of a computer or write things down. I do my writing a little differently. It's hard for me to sit in front of a computer and write jokes. I normally think of them, and then I work them out in my head, and then I like type them out, and then I feel like in head, which makes more sense, in head to piece of paper to stage is probably going to be my writing stuff. And I'm excited, dude. I have such a headache though. Like, this podcast was supposed to be so epic, and like my mood and day just like kind of like has brought it down. But you know what? We're still vibing with it, dude. We're still vibing with it. Um, let's see. I rushed, got nervous. To be honest, it wasn't even like, it wasn't that scary, dude. I challenge anybody who's listening to this podcast to do something that you wanted, or to do the thing that you want to do that you think that you can't do, if that makes sense. Do the thing that you think you can't do, and once you do it, dude, the world literally opens up, because you're like, oh, I can do it. You know, you're like, I can do it. And it's cool, it's exciting. I posted a couple photos on my Instagram. If you're not following me, it's YMBS_Chris, or you can follow the podcast in general. The podcast, just You Might Be Surprised. And I like pretty much just exactly said what I said. I'm like, oh, this is something I've always wanted to do. Scared because of my speech impediment, but said fuck it and did it. And people, like the people like I haven't talked to in a while, reached out to me and said congrats. It's just like a cool feeling to know that like what you had in your head was just completely false, and you can do whatever you want to do in life, you know? So I will be doing stand up more. I will be writing more. And I'm excited to see what happens. I want to get like a good set going, and then maybe I'll record it again and we can compare the two. That would be cool. But let's hop in to hot takes. Now, I only have one hot take, okay? Only have one hot take. And I didn't even want to talk about this. Okay. I wasn't for sure if I should talk about it, but I'm going to. And so the last podcast, I was like, oh, make sure you go out and vote. And this one, we can happily say or non-happily say for some people, or if you're in different, kind of how I am, is Joe Biden's now the president, and like that's cool. And like the only hot take I have, and I will end it on this. It's a very short one. I want to spend most of this podcast talking about my stand-up experience, but I figured since I started segments, I should continue them. And I feel like America. I'm very happy that we finally have a president or going to have a president in the office who is not as crazy. And it'll be nice to have some civil obedience, if that makes sense, someone that seems more professional. But I will say it's going to be weird for the next 4 years because I'm not for sure um, what's going to happen with America. I think, and I preface this because I'm not political at all, and I'm all for humans being treated equally and everybody um, being in the right mindset and just taken care of. But I'm worried for the economy and things like that. And why, you might ask, and why I'm being so serious is because I'm not for sure if I'm not for sure what's going to happen with Corona now that Biden's in office and like shutting down America and things like that. And the reason I bring this up is because I'm 24. I graduated college going on 2 years ago. And like for me and many other the young working class, we're going to have to struggle to find a job or to keep a job, I feel like. But also it's just like people are dying and we need to do something about it. I just hope that there's a way that we can figure it out where it's not completely destroying the economy, but also not hurting thousands of people. So that's my hot take for the week. I was just so focused on my comedy for the first time that I didn't spend as much time as I wanted to creating this podcast. And something could talk about too, and I think something that has been talked about multiple times on this podcast, but like it's slowly starting to get more and more people. Is just like it's so like you never feel like you're doing something right. And I had somebody reach out to me, I forget exactly who, but he was like, "Hey dude, I love the content, keep doing it, I love the show." And it was like a guy that had a higher known podcast than me, and that made me feel good. I was like, oh, maybe I am doing something right. My problem is whenever I want to record these podcasts and put out good content, I can't because I'm at work. Like my mind, if anyone else is like this who's creative, my mind works in one way only, is I get into the zone and I go hard in the paint. And then once that is out, I can't continue it. I get nervous and I'm like, dude, what is going, like I can't keep it going, if that makes sense. So I'm excited for all this stuff to continue going. I've been making the content I've wanted to make. I'm trying to justify spending $2,000 on a camera so then I can get a chair, kind of set the camera up because I have to plug this into my computer so it can record for longer than 30 minutes, even though most of the time this podcast only goes about 30 minutes. But I want to like start doing more, and I want to get like my camera, set it across there, and have like a chair, and like make it look like an actual cool podcast looking setup, kind of like a classic comedy one, and kind of like do more for it. Because with this, I sit in front of it and I like kind of half-ass it whenever I'm not trying to. That's the thing. Like I'm not trying to, but like then when I get in front of this and I start going, I'm like I get in my head a lot. Maybe that's my next thing I can work on, how to not get in my head. It's definitely less, but like so let's end the podcast with some pod decks, dude. Let's get it popping. So, which one do we want to do today? What do you guys want to know more about for me? Let's do the future freaks me out because that'll be a good one for what we were just speaking with. What device could you not live without, and what would you do if it was no longer around? That would easily be my phone. And I feel like I could not live without it, but if phones were never created, I could go on with my life normally. It would definitely make it harder to stay in contact because without phones, you probably wouldn't have computers and so on and so forth. But if I didn't have it, I think a lot of the stress that I have would go away because I'm not always checking Instagram and seeing people doing better than me in life and me wanting $300 pairs of shoes, even though I don't need them, but I want them, or me not wanting this $400,000 car or $200,000 car I'm looking at as my screensaver, but like I want it and like that's a goal of mine. But like in reality, these are just needs, they're not wants, you know? So I think the phone, I could live without it, but also I can't live without it now because like everything I'm doing is creating content, putting content online, or like what I want to do, you know? And like if this stuff doesn't work out, like my profession is to work with social media for a larger company and do that type of thing, you know? Um, one more. We can do relationship deck. Sure, send it. What is a relationship deal breaker for you? What is a relationship deal breaker for me? Let me think about this because I'm normally the one that goes all in on relationships. If that's good or bad, but if there's any ladies out there that like that, hit me up. But I would say I don't like when, especially like now, like when you're grown up, most of the time you're not gonna be dating somebody that's close to you. So I think a deal breaker for me would be like if I spend my time going to hang out with you and like we both or like if I drive to you and like I'm trying to spend time with you and you're not paying attention to me, it's just like what are we doing? You know, like or like it would be the same thing for you though. Like if you drove to me and I was constantly on my phone and I just didn't pay any attention to you, you'd be like, "What the fuck are you doing?" Like I'm here to spend time with you. So I feel like mutual agreement of just like, hey, we're hanging out. I mean, granted, we could be on our phone and do things too. But what I'm saying is like someone who's just like kind of ignoring you or like has other priorities. That's such a dumb thing to say. I honestly have no idea. I haven't been in a relationship in like a year, so I haven't even thought about it. I've just been too concentrated on like chasing dreams or whatever I'm doing with my life to even get into one. But I don't really have any deal breakers. Like if I like you, I like you. Yeah, you know, you know. Um, but the cup is empty. I'm gonna end this podcast here. It's a little bit of a shorter one. It's like 27 minutes. It's like kind of like that's kind of how they go. But I'm excited to talk more about this. I'm excited to spend more time on this podcast. This episode was a good one if you like comedy, and I feel like I'm not hyped. I'm doing this at 7 o'clock at night. I've had a rough day, you know, but I do it to get out. And Joy Juice said this, and he likes to say this in his podcast, or like he's said it before. Anyways, he likes to say not every podcast is going to be a banger, and he knows that, and I know that, but I just hold myself up to such high standards that if I'm not putting out the best type of content, which I think this content is good, you know, but if I'm not doing the best that I can, I immediately get mad at myself. Yeah, you know, so I'm like immediately mad, like, oh, this isn't gonna be good. No one's actually gonna download it. People are gonna listen to it. I'm like, ugh. But in reality, I just need to put out what I want to do and keep chugging, dude. Do it. Don't look back and keep looking forward. That's my advice. Just keep looking forward. Do what you want to do. Keep looking forward. I've been Chris. Oh, hold on. Before I go, follow the socials. YMBS _ Chris is my Twitter. YMBS _ Chris is my Instagram. You Might Be Surprised podcast, or actually, I think it's literally just You Might Be Surprised, not for sure. You Might Be Surprised, I always forget this, is the Instagram. So check it out there. We're growing every day. We're doing it. We're getting more views, getting more followers. I just want to spread positivity and doing things that you don't think you can do, man, like me. And I also just want to be funny and just put out stuff because I like talking and getting my points out. I think that's the one thing that people, I'll end on this if you want to create content. I think the one thing that people look at for creating content is that it's a simple way to make money, but if you don't have a motive or things like that, your content will look half-assed, kind of like mine did kind of in the beginning, because I really didn't have anything until I started introducing segments and just wanting to know, like, I want to be funny or things like that, or I want to create cool, interesting vlogs or take Instagram photos and things like that. So just do what you want to do, man. Try something new. You might be surprised what happens. I've been Chris. You've been beautiful. Peace. That was weird.